The story of the Shadow Walker. It was a cold and stormy night when Detective Alex Turner received an anonymous tip about a series of mysterious disappearances in the small town of Blackwood. Reluctantly, he decided to investigate the matter. As he drove down the deserted road, rain pelting against the windshield, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Alex arrived at the Blackwood Inn, an old, creaky building where the disappearances had supposedly taken place. Inside, he was met by the innkeeper, Mrs. Thompson, a haggard woman with a haunted look in her eyes. "Mrs. Thompson, you shouldn't have come here, detective. This place is cursed, and the shadows hold secrets you can't imagine." "Alex, I've seen my fair share of darkness, Mrs. Thompson. I won't be scared off that easily. Tell me everything you know." Mrs. Thompson hesitated before she began to recount a chilling tale that dated back centuries. According to the legend, a malevolent spirit known as the Shadow Walker haunted Blackwood, feeding off the fear of the town's inhabitants. It appeared only in the darkest corners of the night, snatching unsuspecting souls and dragging them into the abyss. The detective listened intently, trying to piece together the clues hidden within the old woman's words. He soon realized that the disappearances weren't isolated incidents, but rather a pattern linked to the town's dark past. During his investigation, Alex encountered a reclusive figure named Samuel, an enigmatic man who seemed to know more than he let on. As the detective pressed him for information, Samuel's eyes darted nervously. "Samuel, you shouldn't be asking these questions. Some things are better left undisturbed." "Alex, I need answers, Samuel. Lives are at stake." "Samuel, fine. Meet me at midnight by the old oak tree in the forest, but come alone." Under the cover of darkness, Alex made his way to the meeting spot. The old oak tree stood tall and imposing, casting long shadows that seemed to move on their own. As he approached, he felt an eerie presence watching him from the woods. Samuel stepped out from the shadows, his face partially concealed. "Samuel, you're walking on thin ice, detective. The Shadow Walker is real and it's more powerful than you can comprehend." "Alex, I won't back down, Samuel. Tell me how to stop it." Samuel hesitated, then whispered cryptic instructions into Alex's ear. The detective wasn't sure if he could trust Samuel, but he had no other choice. Following Samuel's instructions, Alex prepared for the ultimate showdown with the Shadow Walker. Armed with ancient relics and his unwavering determination, he ventured deep into the heart of the forest, where the malevolent spirit was said to reside. As the clock struck midnight, the forest came alive with sinister whispers, and the shadows seemed to dance around him. Alex could feel the oppressive weight of fear closing in, threatening to engulf him. Shadow Walker whispers, "I've been waiting for you, detective. Your fear sustains me." "Alex, I won't be another victim of your terror. It ends tonight." A fierce battle ensued with Alex and the Shadow Walker locked in a dangerous dance between reality and the ethereal realm. The outcome was uncertain, and it seemed as tough. The darkness itself conspired against the detective. In the final moments of the confrontation, Alex mustered every ounce of courage and willpower he possessed. With a final surge of energy, he managed to weaken the Shadow Walker enough to reveal its true form, a tortured soul trapped in eternal anguish. As the spirit's pain and suffering became evident, Alex's heart softened, and he realized that the Shadow Walker wasn't born evil. It was a victim of a long forgotten injustice. Alex, I can't erase your past, but I can help you find peace. Let go of the darkness. With those words, the spirit's malevolence subsided, and a blinding light engulfed the forest. The Shadow Walker was free at last. As the first rays of dawn broke through the trees, the town of Blackwood seemed different somehow. The curse that had plagued the town for generations was finally lifted. Alex returned to the Blackwood Inn, where Mrs. Thompson and the townspeople greeted him with cautious smiles. They knew that the darkness had been banished, but they also understood that they would forever carry the weight of their history. As Alex prepared to leave, Mrs. Thompson offered him a cryptic farewell. Mrs. Thompson, the shadows may have vanished, detective, but they linger in our memories. Be careful not to lose yourself in the darkness. The town of Blackwood forever changed by the haunting tale of the unseen shadows. And as he drove away, he couldn't help but wonder if some mysteries were better left unsolved. Months passed, and the memory of Blackwood and the Shadow Walker faded from Alex's mind. However, strange occurrences began to plague him. A whisper in the darkness, a fleeting shadow that seemed to follow him, and a feeling of being watched, even in the safety of his own home. Determined to put the past behind him, Alex threw himself into other cases, trying to bury his unease. But the shadows grew bolder and nightmares invaded his sleep. One day, while working on an unrelated case in a nearby town, Alex crossed paths with a woman who looked hauntingly familiar. She introduced herself as Emily, a journalist investigating paranormal activities. Emily, Detective Turner, I heard about your encounter in Blackwood. Fascinating stuff. Alex, I don't know what you're talking about. Emily, oh, come on. No need to play coy. I've been researching the Shadow Walker for years. It's real, and you know it. Alex, I dealt with it. It's over. Despite Alex's attempts to distance himself, Emily's persistence paid off, and she managed to convince him to collaborate on a book about the Shadow Walker. As they delved deeper into the legend, they uncovered forgotten secrets and testimonies from people who had experienced similar horrors. Their research reignited the detectives' unease, and the shadows returned with a vengeance. Soon Alex and Emily found themselves facing more than they bargained for, dark forces that they didn't want the truth to be revealed. As Alex and Emily continued their investigation, they realized that the Shadow Walker's malevolence had seeped into the town's very foundation. Corrupt officials and influential figures were determined to keep the truth hidden, going to great lengths to silence those who dared to speak out. Threats, break ins, and mysterious accidents became commonplace, but Alex and Emily refused to be deterred. With the odds stacked against them, Alex and Emily grew closer, finding strength in each other as they fought the encroaching darkness. As their bond deepened, they also began to uncover more personal connections between their lives and the sinister forces they faced. Through their tireless efforts, they managed to gather enough evidence to expose the Shadow Walker's influence on Blackwood's history, ultimately leading to a confrontation with those who sought to protect the town's darkest secrets. In the final showdown, Alex and Emily faced off against a group of individuals who had been secretly worshipping the Shadow Walker for generations. The cult's leaders intended to resurrect the malevolent spirit and unleash it on the world once again, believing that they could harness its power for their own gain. As the cultists chanted ancient incantations, the shadows seemed to come alive, swirling around the room in a sinister dance. Alex and Emily knew they had to act quickly to stop the dark ritual and save Blackwood from being consumed by darkness once more. With every ounce of their determination and newfound understanding of the Shadow Walker's past, Alex and Emily disrupted the ritual just in time, preventing the spirits from coming alive. The malevolent energy dissipated, leaving only fading echoes of darkness behind. As the dawn broke, the town of Blackwood finally found peace, and the shadows no longer held dominion over its people. Alex and Emily had not only unraveled the mystery, but also put an end to the centuries old curse. In the aftermath of their harrowing ordeal, Alex and Emily returned to their lives forever changed by their shared experiences. They had faced the darkest of shadows, both external and internal, and emerged stronger for it. While Blackwood's past remained haunting, the town now had a chance to heal and rebuild. And for Alex and Emily, they continued to be drawn to the inexplicable and the unknown, knowing that they had found an unbreakable bond in the face of unseen shadows.